Chapter 31. And Jehovah continued to speak to Moses, saying, See, I do call by name Bezalel the son of Uri, the son of Hur, of the tribe of Judah. And I shall fill him with the Spirit of God in wisdom, and in understanding, and in knowledge, and in every kind of craftsmanship, for designing devices, for working in gold and silver and copper, and in working of stones to set them, and in working of wood to make products of every kind. As for me, look, I do put with him Oholiab, the son of Ahisamach of the tribe of Dan. And in the heart of every one wise of heart I do put wisdom, that I may indeed make everything I have commanded you, the tent of meeting, and the ark for the testimony, and the cover that is upon it, and all the utensils of the tent, and the table, and its utensils, and the lampstand of pure gold, and all its utensils, and the altar of incense, and the altar of burnt offering, and all its utensils, and the basin, and its stand, and the garments of knitted work, and the holy garments for Aaron the priest, and the garments of his sons for acting as priests, and the anointing oil, and the perfumed incense for the sanctuary. According to everything I have commanded you, they will do. And Jehovah said further to Moses, As for you, speak to the sons of Israel, saying, Especially my Sabbaths you are to keep, for it is a sign between me and you during your generations, that you may know that I, Jehovah, am sanctifying you. And you must keep the Sabbath, for it is something holy to you. A profaner of it will positively be put to death. In case there is anyone doing work on it, then that soul must be cut off from the midst of his people. 6 days may work be done, but on the 7th day is a Sabbath of complete rest. It is something holy to Jehovah. Anyone doing work on the Sabbath day will positively be put to death. And the sons of Israel must keep the Sabbath, so as to carry out the Sabbath during their generations. It is a covenant to time indefinite. Between me and the sons of Israel it is a sign to time indefinite, because in 6 days Jehovah made the heavens and the earth, and on the 7th day he rested, and proceeded to refresh himself. Now as soon as he had finished speaking with him on Mount Sinai, he proceeded to give Moses 2 tablets of the testimony, tablets of stone written on by God's finger. Chapter 32. Meanwhile, the people got to see that Moses was taking a long time about coming down from the mountain. So the people congregated themselves about Aaron and said to him, Get up, make for us a god who will go ahead of us, because as regards this Moses, the man who led us up out of the land of Egypt, we certainly do not know what has happened to him. At this Aaron said to them, Tear off the gold earrings that are in the ears of your wives, of your sons and of your daughters, and bring them to me. And all the people began tearing off the gold earrings that were in their ears and bringing them to Aaron. Then he took the gold from their hands, and he formed it with a graving tool, and proceeded to make it into a molten statue of a calf. And they began to say, This is your God, O Israel, who led you up out of the land of Egypt. When Aaron got to see this, he went to building an altar before it. Finally Aaron called out and said, There is a festival to Jehovah tomorrow. So on the next day they were early in rising, and they began offering up burnt offerings and presenting communion sacrifices. After that the people sat down to eat and drink. Then they got up to have a good time. Jehovah now said to Moses, Go, descend, because your people whom you led up out of the land of Egypt have acted ruinously. They have turned aside in a hurry from the way I have commanded them to go. They have made a molten statue of a calf for themselves, and keep bowing down to it and sacrificing to it, and saying, This is your God, O Israel, who led you up out of the land of Egypt. And Jehovah went on to say to Moses, I have looked at this people, and here it is a stiff-necked people. So now let me be, that my anger may blaze against them, and I may exterminate them, and let me make you into a great nation. And Moses proceeded to soften the face of Jehovah his God, and to say, Why, O Jehovah, should your anger blaze against your people, whom you brought out of the land of Egypt with great power and with a strong hand? Why should the Egyptians say, With evil intent he brought them out, in order to kill them among the mountains, and to exterminate them from the surface of the ground? Turn from your burning anger, and feel regret over the evil against your people. Remember Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, your servants, to whom you swore by yourself, in that you said to them, I shall multiply your seed like the stars of the heavens, and all this land that I have designated I shall give to your seed, that they may indeed take possession of it to time indefinite. And Jehovah began to feel regret over the evil that he had spoken of doing to his people. After that, Moses turned, and went down from the mountain with the 2 tablets of the testimony in his hand, tablets written upon on both their sides, on this side and on that they were written upon. And the tablets were the workmanship of God, and the writing was the writing of God engraved upon the tablets. And Joshua began to hear the noise of the people because of their shouting, and he proceeded to say to Moses, There is a noise of battle in the camp. But he said, It is not the sound of the singing over mighty performance, and it is not the sound of the singing of defeat. It is the sound of other singing that I am hearing. So it came about that as soon as he got near the camp, and could see the calf and the dancers, Moses' anger began to blaze. And he at once threw the tablets from his hands, and shattered them at the foot of the mountain. Then he took the calf that they had made, and he burnt it with fire, and crushed it till it was fine. After which he scattered it upon the surface of the waters, and made the sons of Israel drink it. After that Moses said to Aaron, What did this people do to you, that you have brought a great sin upon it? To this Aaron said, Do not let the anger of my Lord blaze. You yourself well know the people, that they are evil inclined. So they said to me, Make for us a god who will go ahead of us, because as regards this Moses, the man who led us up out of the land of Egypt, we certainly do not know what has happened to him. Hence I said to them, Who have any gold? They must tear it off themselves, that they may give it to me. And I proceeded to throw it into the fire, and this calf came on out. And Moses got to see that the people went unrestrained, because Aaron had let them go unrestrained for a disgrace among their opposers. Then Moses took his stand in the gate of the camp, and said, Who is on Jehovah's side? To me. And all the sons of Levi began gathering themselves to him. He now said to them, This is what Jehovah the God of Israel has said. Put each one of you his sword on his side. Pass through and return from gate to gate in the camp, and kill each one his brother, and each one his fellow, and each one his intimate acquaintance. And the sons of Levi proceeded to do as Moses had said, so that there fell of the people on that day about 3,000 men. And Moses went on to say, Fill your hand today with power for Jehovah, because each one of you is against his own son and his own brother, and that he may confer blessing upon you today. And it came about on the very next day that Moses proceeded to say to the people, You have sinned with a great sin, and now I shall go up to Jehovah. Perhaps I can make amends for your sin. So Moses returned to Jehovah and said, But this people has sinned with a great sin, in that they made a god of gold for themselves. But now, if you will pardon their sin, and if not, Wipe me out, please, from your book that you have written." However, Jehovah said to Moses, "Whoever has sinned against me, I shall wipe him out of my book. And now, come, lead the people to where I have spoken to you of. Look, my angel will go ahead of you, and on the day of my bringing punishment I shall certainly bring punishment upon them for their sin." And Jehovah began plaguing the people because they had made the calf which Aaron had made.